Top of North America, doing what they do best so far, just earning themselves the W as we still sit 2 games deep between Simplicity taking on Tempo Storm. Looking over towards game number 3 here. We've already got what? Cursed Hollow off the maps, Dragonshire off the map. Is there any map that you'd like to see out of the side of maybe Simplicity, or again, that kind of adjustment here? Because things with the roster changes and things still, you know, kind of being youthful for them.
If they take map control, in the past when they've been in this situation, they take us to towers. It's just kind of been the way that they play. We saw them do it just last week. Tempo Storm said, we'll take you to towers. But this is also, I believe it was last week where we saw the double support with the Uther, which is something that I believe they've run twice now on Towers of Doom, using that Uther with Zuna to be that double support. So we'll see maybe if they try and venture down that route again.
Something deep inside of me tells me we aren't going to see that, even though we've seen it twice from them, but maybe. Yeah, you know, like, just the last time we saw that in part number 2, when that came out from them, it was rocky. You know, a lot of that game, it was, I don't know. I just struggled to look at that and go, and when you see the results in game number 1 and 2, do you want to take that risky strategy? At the same time, I'm sitting here going, I want to see something different from Simplicity if there's going to be an opportunity, so maybe that, in fact, is going to be it. But it feels like that is, we've seen enough of that to be like, is that really going to be the strat that really, you know, makes Tempo Storm look scared, look mortal? Probably not.
Well, Psalm was on my Ev. It looked good. It's one of his heroes. He loves that hero. I wonder if we might just be like, look, we're doing really well. Maybe they'll bring out a little bit of flair for this 3rd game. Maybe see if they can just kind of put a nail in the coffin with, you know, maybe some old school favorites. Maybe they mix it up. Or maybe they're just like, look, let's keep it clean. We still haven't shown anything in week 1 against LFM. Don't have to show anything here. Just
if we get a Psalm cool hero, who do you want?
You know, I actually thought about this coming into today, and I thought, like, look, if so, but think about it. I mean, we're all thinking about heroes all the time. That's all we do, I think. If we see, like, a weird Tracer style, we haven't seen it yet, but I remember about a year ago, somewhere in that year, Psalm was like, I think this hero is very good against Tracer. That hero was a hero that hasn't been played yet in HGC, Valera.
That's a good point. She used to be that kind of counter momentum to Valera. Maybe we'll see it again here. We're about to find out. Game 3, draft on Towers of Doom.
Just so we're sure, that's me thinking way outside the box for fun.
Yeah, I'm not. if I get my Psalm hero, it's going to be Kel'Thuzad. I want him on the mage. I want to see chains on change, you know, fissures thrown out around left and right.
If you connect one, if you have stitches. And Kel'Thuzad.
Yeah, it's called, no, that composition is called 2 chains.
With a Z?
Yeah. Garrosh, first pick here for Simplicity.
You ban Medivh because he does really well to negate burst damage from Kel'Thuzad.
Kel'Thuzad, yeah, which is obviously going to get picked up in this game at some point. Obviously, that isn't because Medivh has been your first pick, first ban.
Burst damage does really well against Garrosh. Just throwing that out there.
It's good. And no, oh man, you're just building the greatest Kel'Thuzad argument I've heard in a hot minute.
Look at that guy. You know who that is right there. #1 player killer.
Still confused. I thought that was Nova.
Right, but you know,
the second
number one player killer.
Oh, Rainer, Jimmy. Popping his head out there. Tempo, what do we, I don't even know. So far, what do we see last game? We went with the Maiev Malf. Obviously, Maiev not an option. The Garrosh picked up. I wanted to suggest the Malfurion, but not after that Genji. Oh man, they're still going to commit to it. Mainly because this is really cool. All right, this is why I was talking to the first draft when we are going to see a lot of the thought process in Tempo Storm. They're in a position where they have every support available and know they're going to commit to a Genji in the 2-3, and they end up doing so after a first pick Uther. But now they're willing to go with the Malfurion after committing to the Genji. All the options still available, but then still willing to go with the Malf over top of that. That, though this maybe at this point in time, right? Like, I'm not sitting here going like, oh, I obviously have the answer, seeing this draft and the like, but what that does is you will learn a lot, keeping track of that shift in mentality and what Tempo Storm values specifically within the support world based on that. This is, man, whenever we get those, that's when I nerd out. Way too hard.
Was that a...
Is that like the
is that the nerd
like,
out?
I know. This is me trying to, with my pen, I was rubbing my hands, yeah. It is a little kind of kitty wampus there with the pen.
I wonder, we've seen the high priority on Stukov And it's something, well, they go Stukov, and we get another Abathur this game.
I really like Abathur Garrosh. It's a synergy, or a pairing, more so we don't talk about a lot, but having the armor post the healing, post the shielding out of Abathur, it's one of those, if you can dangle Garrosh at about 33% HP, it's really, really nice. And Abathur is one of those heroes that can do that pretty well. Also, between the W and the cycling in the hat, you can get multiple rotations onto it. And giving Garrosh damage, if you thought his CC was intimidating, it's even more so now. Fourth time
is
we
there
get a
something
secondary
in
ban
scrims,
phase.
or is it just the Garrosh?
Should be noted, this is the second time we've seen the Diablo ban with that on towers, where you look at it and you go, okay, but it's Towers of Doom, I kind of get it, right? It's the ones that are not Towers maps or cursed maps, or where you have that kind of choke where I go, wait a minute, there's something to learn from that. And again, that's that kind of draft stuff that I'm talking about. That's those nerdy moments where, ooh, go back, look at the numbers, try and figure out the code.
Well, we saw Justin earlier, even in a loss, looked pretty amazing on the Diablo and Towers of Doom earlier. Not available here, so we'll see which route Cattle will go down. Obviously a very diverse hero pool for him. Played quite a bit thus far. Even has the Lone Varian game unsuccessfully.
I'm expecting them to go in the Dahaka route just because of the Abathur, which you see Glaring end up picking up there. I forgot what pairing we saw from them with the primary warrior in game 1. Was it the Tyrael? I don't believe so.
In game 1, Tempo got Garrosh. In game 2, they got the Johanna on Dragonshire.
It was Johanna Dahaka? I forgot.
The first game was Garrosh Dahaka.
Garrosh Dahaka? Yeah. Okay. So it wasn't with the Tyrael there.
Incoming Valera. There's not really any other threats that are going to kill you. Just throwing that out there. Look, if they snap block it, okay, it's not snap block, it's not going to be Valera. I'm trying to do the dread, like, if I say that it won't be,
you think it'll happen.
Then it will be.
Only one of us was gifted with this curse, young man.
A curse or a blessing? I mean, you've gotten your Lily games, you got your early rotation Jaina, and I know you love every bit of it.
Oh, man. If Tychus would be the safe,
oh yeah,
like the safe go-to beyond the Valera meme, you know, whether or not we get it. I'm still on the give me that Kel'Thuzad, but I mean seriously, how do you survive with that Tracer bouncing around all over the place?
Yeah, that's obviously much more difficult, especially look at the fact that you can double down, double up as Garrosh at level 13. Leo has the Wraith Walk to be unstoppable, so he can't get chained, and as you said, Tracer just too much mobility.
It's a lot of time spent on this. I feel like it's got to be the mix-up. We'd spent 58 seconds to do what seemed like the clear answer there for Tempo Storm.
Look, if we get Psalm post-game, like, look, was there any shot we might have got a Valera? Was that what that whole full minute was about? And I'll just give him the wink that he cannot see.
Yeah.
And then I know he'll be like, yes.
Yeah, totally. I'm on board with that. Or, you know, Cattle was out just grabbing a granola bar really quick, and he was going to be back, and he said, pick Tychus, give me a moment, and he was out. Could have been that too. Who knows? You know, I'm sitting on the side of J-How, though, you know?
You know, it's very standard. Obviously, Tychus into Garrosh, the known counter there. Obviously, percentage-based damage on the minigun going into it. Garrosh, you get that big burst kill. We also get to see another Genji game. You know, obviously, Psalm and Fan can both kind of interchange here on the backside. So it's kind of whoever's on that Genji I trust, whoever's on the Tychus I trust. I think Tychus is normally Fan's hero, so we'll see when we get into game.
Yeah, we actually have the game ready here. Towers of Doom sitting at match point. Tempo up 2 games. Over Simplicity, we'll find out if Simplicity can hold off. Send us to a game 4 right now.
Well, this is the second Abathur attempt here for Simplicity, as it is going to be up to Hosty to try and get that down. On Cursed Hollow, obviously has some value. On Towers of Doom, probably arguably one of his best maps, and you can control some of the rotations. We saw Mind Build in game number 1. This time he's holding that talent so far. You get the extra damage at 1 in game number 1, and we also saw him go the extra cooldown reduction with the extra charges at level 4, and then the slowdown at 7. See if he goes down that route here.
I'd be willing to bet it's going to be shield, and a mule. Only because the Garrosh synergy I was talking about a little bit before, he does end up committing to that there. But it is curious, you know, whenever we see that kind of diversity in build, because it has become, I think it's fair to say, you know, shield build Abathur is the meta as it currently stands. Also on that same note, turns out Tempo Storm's fan actually just has a guide on that, available at playheroes.com/HGC. I know we plugged it a little bit earlier, but I figured since the man is playing against Abathur and using the build, it was probably amp time. Tempo.
Dread, on my main account,
Yeah.
Abathur's my 3rd most played hero. Absolutely love it. Almost level 50 with him. Even I read the guide. And I still think there's a lot of really good info in there. As Fan gets flipped over, Cattle's going to dive in. See Zuna eating quite a bit of damage on the way out as Salmon team putting the return damage on.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this, but when, people always ask me my favorite, hero and stuff, and I always play, oh, wait a minute, Fan. Oh, wait a minute, Fan.
K1 Pro landed that weighted pustule.
Ooh.
And he tried to use that run and gun, and then it just kind of like he got stuck in the mud there.
I was wondering if CAF was going to open with the E versus the Q. He opened with the QE rather than EQ, being the groundbreaker and a throw, or throw and a groundbreaker. I would have liked to see the throw and a groundbreaker. I know, again, that's one of those, they got the kill. How can you ask more? But let's be real here. He was slow, not going to get the dismount, had the time to make that happen. Little stuff like that, that practice like you play. The Mikey Doll was kind of referring to a little bit before, even though this is, technically an actual game. I just view it as like always making sure you can be as effective, as efficient as possible. Still going to be efficient there with that 2-man groundbreaker. Pulse bomb goes out. Zuna falling low. Psalm.
Ooh, good body block there by K1 Pro, but the recall, I don't think that Zuna got the message because K1 Pro blocked all 3 shurikens that would have likely been a kill. I mean, that was a great play by K1 Pro. A very heads-up play.
And then the lack of trust made it the same result either way. The recall there, man, that was a great job there from K1, but it is one of those kind of just awkward, can't get away around it. Now Cap ends up finding himself a June, trying to use that Abathur hat to get the kill. No reset available for Psalm. Forces that cyber agility out.
We're seeing a little bit of a change-up, especially against Garrosh Dread. Normally, throughout the day and traditionally, we've kind of seen the bigger they are to make sure and get that damage against the Garrosh. The bigger they are, obviously, does higher percentage-based damage, up until, I think, about 35%. Instead, we're getting in the rhythm, which it still does your percentage-based damage, but it stacks. It's an infinite stacking quest, so you can run it longer. So a bit surprising to see that against the Garrosh. Normally, you're trying to blow him up, but with multiple melees, sometimes you kind of go that route, especially the fact that you add Stukov in there. It's technically 3 melee that you'll be going against.
It's an interesting choice. One that I would normally, hold up. Nice interrupt there from Cattle. Abathur did end up getting the top left channel. Dahaka consuming that top right. It's all about the brush stock now. With that in mind and the Leo getting side soak, he is going to make the rotation down, but this is normally what you would expect to be too late, considering you have an Abathur composition. Tempo did not get a kill or pressure out well enough yet. Maybe it's going to be here, forcing on the cap, throws down the root to zone out. Toss is not going to land. Groundbreaker forced.
Yeah, he meant to hit the channel there, did not, so put him in a weird spot. Now Zuna, he's rotating down. You can see Prismat coming at the top right of your screen. Sam obviously going to hold on to that using his deflect. He's going to hold his deflect for the potential pulse bomb. Sometimes you use that to get a little bit of damage off towards the Tracer, but when you're sitting at that low health, you do not want to use your deflect strictly to dodge auto attacks. You just kind of buy your time, else you will be one dead Genji.
Nice interrupt from K1.
Well, he's got a different level 4 here for Stukov. Not going one good spread. Instead, he's going Biotic Armor, which gives you, whenever you receive that healing pathogen, you receive 50 physical armor. That is, but that's for the initial target, mind you. That's something I don't know if I've seen before.
Yeah, and it's going to allow you to survive a lot through that Tracer. Talking about that Tracer, Zuna found himself a kill, and he's on no man's land. But this is actually great splitting from him in this 1v1. That Abathur hat giving him multiple shields will actually allow him to stay alive for quite some time. Psalm comes back to lock it in there. Fan getting a lot of value out of that in the rhythm. Interrupt there onto the Groundbreaker. Going to get the pull. Indomitable used, but inevitably Cap is going to drop here. Fan starts the channel. K1 Pro trying to make it out. Smite thrown down for the mobility, but the 3-man weighted plus the passive is enough to gain distance, keep them alive.
Well, Dread, you called it at the beginning of this game. We do have Shield Mule coming out here in terms of the 147 for Abathur. So see that. You get the persistence. So level 1, you get the heal. Level 4, you get the persistence after you cancel that. And then obviously a Mule going to heal up structures as needed. So we'll see how effective that is as this game unfolds.
It's going to be a neat, I don't know, the Mule talent minigame. Again, I would suggest looking at Fan's guide when it comes to that and to talk about that, because that is a lot of the, when do you do, when do you not. But I think the biggest talent adjustment that I still really enjoyed out of this game has got to be the fact that we did not see the bigger they are. Anybody who hasn't kept track of the latest Tychus or post-Tychus rework, what I was talking about before is eventually it got to a point where his 13, the heal, with used to be happening at the same exact time as you had the damage output. But then it got to the point where that's the stuff only hit after that point, to where it's actually counterintuitive to be effective within the rhythm. And so it makes you put in that position where you go, oh, do I want to commit to that? But into the Tracer already, you probably aren't going to be moving in that direction. You would go with the more defensive talents, still get in the rhythm, which against a double front line, like, you know, a Leora Garrosh, you're going to get a lot of value out of. So Fan is going to literally just become unstoppable at the later stages. The only counter kind of awkward moment that this build gives is your Odin use. You know, it makes it to where you go, wait a minute, I'm actually a worse hero at certain stages of the game if I have my minigum up and I'm using, and wow, great flip taunt and silence is going to get the kill after that pulse bomb dropped onto Caterpillar.
Oh, yeah. Zuna with the recall there. Remember, we are not on the Tracer changes, so we don't have that 30-second recall in play yet. A little bit sooner.
Good route.
Good routes there by... Oh, Fan ended up pulling off.
Yeah, well, and then Zuna was able to move up. Nice massive shove. Leo now going to join the squad. 5 on 5, but keep in mind Tyrael's back a little bit here as we still have the ultimate evolution available for simplicity.
They're walking forward. Glaurung going forward. You can see the Entomb's going to lock him in. Fan and team trying to go in, but you can see Psalm coming in with the interrupt on the flank. K1 Pro continuing to keep each other alive, but this is a double Stukov here, Dre.
Yeah, double Stukov. A lot of threat now going on to the real Stukov there as Genji goes in, Sanctification drop, but didn't get the value. Punishment as the taunt goes down there. Psalm is going to drop on that Genji. The flip over on top of the silence and the pulse bomb. Simplicity. 2 for nothing in that trade with a great punishment on Tempo's opener.
I'm pretty sure Cattle was going to die, but that pulse bomb actually missed. He actually died to the damage from the splash of it. So the initial target takes damage, and then there's the AoE damage around it. He ended up dying to it on the ground. That's something you don't see that often. I think he was dead anyways.
I mean, yeah, and with the throw on top of it, very little dodging capabilities, Caffeine locking so much down over that last skirmish. Even with the, I mean, let's be real here, that Entomb was a bit of a misclick backwards on the side of Prismat, and they were still comfortable to make it out. I think we just saw an isolation used there from Glaurung before that Wraith Walk landed.
Got that bobblehead action going on. So far, we actually, right before we cut away, you could actually see there was quite a bit of structure damage that's been done to the middle. The Abathur values starting to mount up a little. This is actually, we see Simplicity with a full level lead Dreadnought. Zuna eating quite a bit of damage. Good grenade there by Fan, but now Psalm's locked in. The cleanse is going to be there, but he is locked in. K1 Pro getting the lockdown with that lurking arm. That's going to be Psalm falling again.
K1 Pro and King Caffeine, whenever they are on Garrosh Stukov together, single-handedly, I feel like win the games for Simplicity. They do so much work together. Beyond the fact that these guys have been long-standing duo, the longest, by far the longest-standing, you know, duo in all competitive heroes since day _1. These guys have stuck together, played together. But, I mean, that was ridiculous because even though the Entombment and the Silence, that's the thing getting the kill, the man hitting the 3-man Groundbreaker into the 3-man Warlord's Challenge, making sure that there is literally 0 counterplay to save that, is Garrosh up in the front.
Oh, my. Cattle lucky to be alive. Zuna hits the Pulse Bomb onto the Tyrael there. Unable to get the takedown. He's going to go back. He's going to head home, try and get a little bit of health as we see the double Ultra Phase. Core health, relatively even, 32 to 32. Not relatively, but absolutely even. Just wonder if we'll get the trade here. That'd be absolutely okay.
All right, just decent. There it is, trade over on both sides. Core is going to remain even here. Sappers do exist for tempo.
Okay, so we're going a little bit full crazy on this Abathur build all of a sudden. Generally at 13, you go into the heal on your Spike Burst. This time around, we're seeing going into the stab, where you get the extra charge and the cooldown reduction by 0.5 seconds. So looking to do more of that damage on the backside.
I think I know the thought process behind this, and when I say I think, it's because it's the only argument I can see for the talent, and obviously maybe, you know, if we get to talk to Jose after, we can ask him. But my argument would be, if you notice that Tracer's the main hat target, for anybody who doesn't play a lot of Abathur, you would notice whenever you hat, typically you only get 1 rotation of spells, which is a double Q, and then by the time your second Q comes off, there's still 2 to 3 seconds before your next rotation of E. With this build, it essentially allows you to maintain a singular hat, get 2 hat shield cycles out of it, which is going to accent that 1 and 4. So you can keep Zuna constantly hatted, get multiple shields, and then you don't feel unjustified because you're still getting damage output by that 13 by getting that extra spike.
Yeah, you know, in the past, I think the only times, and to your point of who they're hatting, you know, if you look at it traditionally, if you're wondering why, a lot of times we've seen teams go into the Leoric or the Murd, and sometimes now that's when you get more value. But there's the flank over the toss by King Caffeine, the zone of the lurking arm. Glaurung's going to come in. A little bit of pre-cleanse action with the Indomitable there by King Caffeine. Dodging that tongue, not sure if it would have hit, but definitely heads-up play.
Also, the reaction time there on the flip out from material. I mean, the Eldruins is a bit of a tell. You know, maybe bit is an understatement there. But still, you know, positioning and just sitting there kind of constantly waiting, going, yeah, if this is going to be flipped over, I've got the combo ready as fast as possible. You hold a second later, and Tempo Storm reacts faster.
Well, that Odin is out.
Yeah, that's early. But Leo's slow on rotation, so it might gain them a bit. K1 with the interrupt. Zuna now looking to get down and get that damage onto Glaurung, forcing the passive use. Channeled there still from June. 4 shots onto the core Simplicity.
Yeah. Leo kind of stopped mid. I don't know if he was Wraith walking. All I could see was the mini-map. He just didn't quite make it down in time. So Simplicity willing to concede. They're still only down 4 health afterwards.
This is essentially Simplicity really relying on the fact that they have a pretty effective 3-man with the Abathur Leo double soak, and that Leo can do well into Haka 1v1s. He dominates Leo 2v, or you know, the 2v1s with the Leo with the Abathur hat like that. The multiple hats we were talking about before, and having this 13 talents here, it's even more damage output. I am surprised that we see that talent picked up, but still being willing to commit to the shielding at 4. I did think it would be more of Adrenal, again, to kind of get that Tracer all in, but it doesn't profit or benefit that Leo as much as some of the other members, also the Garrosh, which probably justification for that adjustment of the build. Wraith walk in. Do we get the Entomb? We do. Fan in a tough spot.
See, trying to hold it down, but now all of a sudden Tiro got tossed in there. That's a big kill. That's a big, timely pickoff. Again, the bottom lane control has not been as prominent. I kind of wonder if these map changes have actually been felt, as we've seen normally the high priority on here, but the longer respawn timer, that is the patch that we're on. The Sappers respawn 30 seconds longer, 30 seconds later, so we haven't seen the priority. Cattle, he's going to be just fine, but Prismat, he's going to pick up the camp.
Yeah, he has no holy ground, so no threat of, you know, maybe that, ooh, is this Tyrael going to get that all in? One shot, bottom bell tower will be converted on the bottom half for Simplicity. Actually, Tyrael kept 2 of those Sappers busy because nobody was wanting to zone off of them for Simplicity. He will end up getting 1 for free. The bottom bell tower still ends up converting. I was like, that might buy him enough to not get the conversion over. 5 shots going to be picked up by Zuna now, as we see the first core lead for Simplicity. Mines get that interrupt.
Things working out well for them here in the middle part of Towers of Doom. We'll see if they can maintain control of that bot lane. Looks like they're going to go ahead and move their way over. Is Simplicity down towards this bottom left Sapper camp. Make sure and see if they can keep the threat on that bot lane. As you can see, the rest of Tempo Storm, they're moving down to try and reclaim that Dread.
How much does Simplicity give up here? You see Garrosh already with a huge collapse. Eldruin thrown down. Cattle, one knows this is going to get hairy in a moment. There's a smite. Groundbreaker. Taunt. It's not going to come out yet. No sanctification, at least not originally. There he goes, ends up using it on himself. K1 Pro is deleted there, but there goes Cap with the taunt onto Psalm. Psalm has to nope out of there. Glaurung even pulling out the drag. Groundbreaker's going to land, but that's Hosey there and that clone of Garrosh.
And now with that pick, it means Tempo Storm will reclaim control of this bottom bell tower. You know, one thing in particular to note, another change up in terms of builds. King Caffeine at level 16 going Mortal Combo. If Wrecking Ball is used on a hero...
Slow duration, right? Or slow value.
You get the stunning them with Groundbreaker. Wrecking Ball's cooldown is reduced by 7 seconds. So he's going cooldown reduction on the Wrecking Ball, looking for that ultimate frontline control. So, you know, it's a pretty interesting setup. Generally, we've seen kind of the, if you use your Wrecking Ball and you hit another hero, or you throw something into a hero, you get the stun. That's how we get some of these big combos. Instead, we're seeing a little bit of a switch up.
It's working out here. 2 major adjustments in common builds here for Simplicity, and they find themselves up in HP and in experience over Tempo Storm. Tempo, 25 seconds out from this 2 altars. This is the last remaining fight pre-20 realistically for them to get is over this altar phase. Glaurung is worried about getting the conversion there to the top half of the map. It's not going to happen for some time though. And so this is really Simplicity's moment.
Double altar phase, they're not quite 20, so Tempo Storm is still on even footing in that regard. But as you said, the bell towers are not even. Prismat, he's going to get the half there. You can see King Caffeine, he's going to zone out. Dahaka has brush stalkered into the bottom, but Garrosh under assault here.
Garrosh under assault. Not going to drop yet. Zuna versus Glorong. Zuna comes out on top with that healing. Now Prismat, he's taking a lot of damage. There's the massive shove after the Entomb Sanctification, hitting 4 members. Tempo get reset 1. Psalm's going to go ahead and dash right through. Now Zuna seems to be the focus, falling below 50%. Going to get the healing. K1 throws out the Lurking Arm. There's the Groundbreaker. Second Lurking Arm going to be dropped there. Untalented from Hosi.
Zuna still has that Pulse Bomb. Did not pull the trigger. And that's going to be the altars going over to Tempo there, and Simplicity falls back behind as it's 18-15. Dahaka instantly goes right back to the top, but 20 looming here for Simplicity, but no Leoric for a little while longer. We'll see if they try and make something happen, if they can get 20 in the meantime. Still trying to take advantage of that Abathur, soaking as much as possible.
Yeah, the experience choke is what I'm going to call it here with this. Because this strategy, it took me a while to figure it out. But Simplicity is running a composition that is, you know, it's an older one. And it's, at least theory-wise, with the offlaner, Abathur, Leo, side soak, you know, making sure that the 2-man versus the 1 of the Dahaka is always going to be at a disadvantage. And then with enough kill potential within the 3 for it to kind of matter, or not matter. And then you sacrifice enough of the shots early game to where you get a big enough experience lead to where you become overbearing. And we saw that window come for Simplicity. But we also, I feel like now we're watching it go as they've lost the conversion over that bottom bell tower, especially after that last skirmish. And now if Tempo can hold to the 20, they find themselves in a perfectly even footing. And suddenly we've got to be asking ourselves, can they win the team fight? Zuna falling very low. So I'm actually going in with the Dragon Blade to get that, getting a little bit greedy for that 1 kill, and it's costing a lot. After Glorong comes in with the brush knock, hits the isolation onto K1. Prismat trying to keep himself alive, but it's inevitable that this is 2 more resets here. At least 1.
This goes from bad to worse, as now if they confirm this will put them down to 5 core health, and they might be able to make more happen. June? He didn't go the slow at 20,
well,
so.
The biggest thing there is he didn't have to dismount. Yeah, you just wait until you get 100% root, get enough auto attack damage for it not to matter. Either way, Hosi makes it out. Top or bottom bell towers converted. Top right's being picked up by Tempo. June's going to send 5 shots that way. 10 remain on the core here. There will be 5 more with this, sending it to 5. So it's not lethal yet, but for Tempo Storm by any means. They're going to go with the boss play. Prismat not willing to scout that out with the Wraith walk.
You know, I don't normally like to say, hey, look, somebody made a misplay, but Zuna down at the bottom took 2 keep shots. He ended up going in, trying to get the big damage behind the Sappers. The minute the Sappers went down, he took the keep shots on the way out. And then when K1 Pro turned around with that big root, it was like way too juicy of a target. And the fact that that's a Tychus, you can't do that against the Tychus because he will survive that. Now we see the clone going down. Tempo's going to make a play on this mid bell tower and try to end the game.
They really want to end this game. They do not want this bell tower to only be 4th, 5 shots. They want all 6 because they want to say GG, good night, Simplicity. Can they take this? I feel like this is a bit greedy, but we'll find out.
See if Simplicity can turn it around. The Eldruans holding a point there. Tychus continuing to kind of feign in that area, trying to send those minions forward.
I just want to say that I feel like the brush talk that's going to happen from behind them, they need to find a way to get punishment there or get the punishment beforehand as the K1 Pro with that Lurking Arm forces the Sanctification.
Sanctification went out. So did the taunt there by Garrosh, and Dahaka just fallen under. Odin is back. Look for him to maybe turn some attention towards the fight as well. But the isolation going to go into Leo. Tongue's going to land as well. Prismat somehow stays alive, but now it's Psalm's turn to work as he's going in with a massive shove. Has got him. Deflect is down. Psalm goes down, Dread.
He comes back and is able to get the kill on to K1 Pro. Now Zuna kiting back as you see Fan trying to make work happen there with that Odin. He cycles back towards mid. The Mule trying to heal it up. The damage going in. Mid bell tower converted. Tempo is at lethal range. June now starts the channel. Calf trying to zone off. Zuna doing his best, but with that drag, Zuna's going to look to move in. It does not matter. Tempo takes it 3-0. What a beautiful end to that game for Tempo Storm. Struggling for a majority of it, down levels, something the only time we saw that from them in this series. And when it comes to the end of the game, the moment for them to go, yeah, yes, we got control, they weren't okay with just the half win. They were like, you know what? We're better. We are going to get this bell tower. We can get the conversion and still get that channel. Bold but confident move, and it pays off.
I'm impressed. I mean, Tempo Storm, I think they had a few moments of weakness there, but I think on that battleground, it seems to be what Simplicity likes to run. When it comes to Towers of Doom, there's some type of chaos that they're able to create. They pick up wins. If not, they make it completely and utterly difficult for their opponent, as Tempo Storm, obviously being the favorites here, did have a little bit of a difficult time, but clutched it out in the end. So credits to Simplicity for keeping it competitive after a rough first few games.
Yeah, and also, you know, you were talking about some of the maybe changes towards Towers of Doom on the map. We've got 2 games on Towers here today, right? And in both games, we saw the entirety of them, 3 bell towers converted on that bottom half, which is, I mean, I feel like automatically night and day difference compared to the 30 seconds of the other sappers. Like,
it's
normally that's
impressive.
at 20 to 30 to that one camp that can have that big of an impact. I think it goes to show with some of the, I'm going to call them like second generation maps, which I don't know where you draw the line between first and second generation.
I think Towers of Doom was the beginning of the second. I'm with you.
Okay. So if we're starting that as this threshold of second generation, definitely all those with the, you know, kind of stronger camps and they have that impact. It's crazy what it does. 30 seconds difference, and suddenly the entirety of the map has to play differently. But we do have Captain here, shot caller, the man, the myth, the legend on the front line of Tempo Storm. Caterpillar with us. Cattle. You know, the last game looked a little bit hairy, but other than that, it was smooth sailing for Tempo Storm.
Yeah, today was pretty good. The last game started off a little sloppy, but we cleaned it up, got it together, and then, yeah, got the 3-0 we wanted.
That last bell tower kind of moment when you have the altar, you go, okay, the win condition is here. We've done the math. It's there, but we need to get that, you know, convert that over. For me, that was very impressive to see from you guys to have the confidence to kind of make that happen. Did you guys feel like it was equally as bold, or you're like, nope, we've got it, we're good to go?
We were just waiting for Tyke Assault. Once Tyke Assault is up, there was no way we could lose there, so we just stalled and just sat around a bit and waited. And then, yeah, once you have big red button, it's over there.
And I'm going to ask you know about your other series later on, but I want to just know more towards the entirety of North America. Looking at this right now after today's games, I feel like we haven't got maybe the best opponents to kind of cross-compare against with you guys. So where do you guys view your confidence? Because for the most part, or like where your power level is, because for the most part, it feels like Team 12 seems like it was the only team that could maybe rival that, and then we watched what happened today with Team 12. So what do you guys think?
I mean, all I can say is we feel pretty good after that Team 12 GFE series. They're also at 3 losses now, so we have a good amount of wiggle room. So that's really good for us. Pretty much took a lot of pressure off, and I mean, I don't know. We feel really confident. We feel like we're on the top right now.
Feeling your way to Sweden here already? Just feeling comfortable after today's performance? All right, I'm going to send you over to J-How.
Cattle, first off, congratulations. But I asked you, I believe I talked to you about this last week, but I also want to know this week. It seems to me, and is this my observation or is it feeling different? You guys' drafts just feel different. We are not seeing the full death ball compositions. Is that the Western Clash impact, and is this a brighter future for you guys?
It's still there. The threat of it is still there. We played those comps so much that we know they work. We don't need to pull them out now anymore. We can just hold off on those, keep them practiced, and then when we need them, we'll play it again. It's not the perfect meta for it, so we're just kind of letting it float back a bit just with how strong Maiev is and Medivh, and I don't know. It's going to chill for a bit, but it'll be back one day.
Speaking of Maiev, you guys busted out in the second game. Obviously, we're playing on a different patch with a lot of Maiev nerfs. Do you feel that that's a big impact, or she's kind of first pick worthy because you have a player like Psalm on your team?
As far as I can tell, I've never played her in my life, so I don't really know, but I've definitely heard Psalm talking about it in scrims and fan that, oh my god, she does so little damage now. Wow, I'm so much weaker than before. So it's definitely had a big impact. She's still in a really strong spot, and I expect her priority to stay pretty high, especially if you have really good Maiev. So yeah, she's staying pretty high up there for us.
In this series, we saw Dragonshire in game number 2, and it's a map that you guys completely dominate on. At this point, I'm a little bit surprised people don't ban against you, but you guys tend to hit this mid-game push where you somehow get Giants at bottom and then Knights and then just kind of walk down the lane. What is it about Dragonshire that leads to so much success for you guys that you feel that confident, or do you just feel that you guys have an upper hand in terms of shot calling against other teams? What is it about that map?
I feel like Dragonshire is the kind of map where a team is either really good at or really bad at, and we're definitely on the really good end of the spectrum. I just feel like a lot of people have trouble understanding how to properly like play the map, and it takes teams out of their comfort zone a lot because they can't stay grouped. And we're really confident at like we'll take a 3v4, we'll take a 3v5. We don't really care. So that makes us just excel on the map.
Well, everything for you guys looks good so far. Congratulations on your victory today.
And last up here, Cattle, going towards, next weekend, what we got coming out from you guys. Actually, it's tomorrow, not even next week.
Yeah.
After today's games, no tomorrow, are you feeling any different? I'm guessing it's probably going to be same level of confidence, but figured I'd ask.
I'd say nothing's changed off that series. We're still going into it, not underestimating them, taking the series very seriously. We want to get a 3-0. We want a 3-0 pretty much any series we can. All the wins are important, especially it just room for error is really nice to have. So we just want to just keep clean slates for now.
Kind of have that breathing room there. Well, congratulations again for today's games. And, I'm just going to give you the floor here. Any shout outs that you got to give?
Yeah, shout outs to my team. Really well played today. We didn't throw, which was nice. Shout out to all our fans, everyone that watches all of our streams. I'm not going to say them all again. Everyone knows at this point. And shout out to Tempo Storm and all of our sponsors, Red Bull, NVIDIA, Secret Lab, Twitch, Playvig, sorry, Felix Gray, and Skytech Gaming. We really appreciate the support and keep cheering us on. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Cattle. And again, congrats.